Hey, everybody, welcome to the Sci-Fi Sisters podcast, where we give you our point of view. I'm Tamia Harper, and I'm joined today by my sister, Subrina Wood. What's your name again?
That girl.
That girl. I'm joined by one of my sisters. I'm joined by my
That
sister,
one.
Subrina Wood.
Oh, it's gonna be a show.
It's going to be a show. I'm still waiting for my whoop whoop.
Oh, okay. And tonight we have a special show because we were talking a little earlier, and we'll get more into it. But we're talking to an author tonight, and you know how Tamia and I just love it when we talk about books.
Yes, we do.
Ooh, yay! This is one of our favorite people. This is M. Shy Dash is here tonight with us, and we are so excited. We've been trying to get this friend of ours on for a bit. But M. Shy is an author, a writer, and a speaker, and she lives right here in Washington, D.C.
Whoop, whoop.
Yep, her work is centered on how to transform adversity into purpose and art. And she also focuses on the evolution of Afrofuturism as an aesthetic literary genre. I love that. She's also a speaker, and not only on Afrofuturism, but on race, politics, and injustice, as well as the contributions of people of color in speculative fiction. She's spoken at the Apollo Theater, the Duke Ellington School of the Arts, and Trinity University. Her poetry has also been featured at an event at Carnegie Hall. Welcome to the show tonight, our friend and writer, M. Shy Dash, girl.
Yay!
Whenever I hear that stuff, I'm like, who did that stuff?
You did, sister.
Thanks for making me sound pretty cool.
You are cool.
Pretty cool. You are pretty cool.
Okay.
My son would disagree.
Yeah, well, what does he know? We know the real deal.
The same thing you knew at 18, everything.
Exactly. He'll come to find out how cool you are and how groundbreaking and amazing you are. I just have to get this in before we get into the real nitty-gritty of the show. When we met M. Shy the first time, it was at your house, at her house, right? Because that was your spot, right?
Well, it was at the Calabash Tea and Tonic.
Oh, well, no, that's where you met her for the first time. Okay, so where I met her for the first time was yeah.
Because she said, I'm going to bring somebody. I was like, more the merrier. I had made this gigantic thing of tea.
Octavia Butler.
Octavia Butler.
That was so good.
Calabash Tea.
Shout out to Sunyata. Really.
Yes.
Amazing place.
And we walk into this woman's home and it just enveloped you right away. You feel welcome and you felt health and you felt peace and you felt like luxury too, and comfort, like luxury in the sense of like, I want to touch this fabric. I want to look at this color. I want to smell this plant and these foods. Like, it was like a sensory stimulation. And it was and then I meet this woman that I've never met before. And I just felt so welcomed and loved. Like, this is what I can't understand. This is what I'm trying to get across to people. You are love. Your energy is love. I came out of your place feeling rejuvenated. I came out of your place feeling inspired. And I came out like in a little bit of awe. I got to tell y'all, I was like, I have a girl crush now because this woman is just all that and a bag of chips. I had to get that out there on air. Bam, you're amazing.
We were talking about it earlier. It was just like one of those days where I'm kind of confused now because I remember meeting you at the writers group that we had with Sister Sci-Fi.
Right.
Sister Sci-Fi came out from Oakland. And she was doing the event at Calabash Tea and Tonic, and I went to it.
And you were so awesome. And it was you, and it was what was so cool about that event? It was just like a handful of people that cycled in and out throughout the event, so it never felt crowded, and I really got to talk to you. And I just remember being so excited when I was like, "What? A Trekkie doing what? Doing what podcast?" And then we knew a lot of the same people,
right?
And I always loved that because I'm just like, how did I miss you in my circle? But then just like that, I think the next day you were all in my house drinking tea.
We were at the house. We were at the house drinking Octavia Butler tea, having a good time.
Octavia Butler.
I'm very grateful that you said that I made you feel loved when you come in my space because my mom raised me as a host. She was, I don't know, I'm one of 6 kids. And my mom was like, when she would have events, she's like, I'm not doing all this stuff. So she would just enlist us to do all the
Right.
things. And I think it just really, I mean, back then it was annoying when we were little, but as we got older, it really endeared us to like when people come in, you serve them and you make sure everything smells nice and looks nice and they can rest and they're comfortable and they have tea, of course. So
Mm-hmm.
that makes me feel good that you felt welcome.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was all there. It was all like it was natural and it was easy and yeah, it was just wonderful. And then of course we had like this, it was 4 sisters doing amazing things. And we
Mhm.
had this amazing conversation. And I mean, like that was just a rare moment and a beautiful moment and one that I'm grateful for.
I love to see people's ideas come full circle and go and come to fruition. So it really was just special for me too, because I think that's when Isis had just mentioned that she wanted to do this book vending machine venture. And so to
Yes.
see it come full circle and to see how excited people are about it, and taking pictures with it and just, going and patronizing the vending machine. I'm very, very excited and happy for her, and I hope it expands and is just like a blessed venture for her.
Me
So,
too. Yeah. And in case you guys missed it, we're talking about sister sci-fi. That people often get us confused, sci-fi sisters and sister sci-fi, but we are kindred spirits and we love each other and we wholeheartedly support her and we try to put her on blast and
yeah.
and support her as much as we can because she's
When y'all are
amazing.
both in the room together, it's just like the Spider-Man meme. You just pointing at them. No,
So all you book club people, if you're going to buy an Afrofuturistic book, go there first.
Please.
SisterSci-Fi.com.
Hmm.
Sister with an H on the end. Sister Sci. So, okay. So what we're here for tonight, though, is to talk more about your works. And you have uh Quirky Black Sci-Fi Tales Volume 1, which is in my hand, which is autographed. Ooh, she autographed it for me. And coming out now, which is what we're going to talk about, is Quirky Black Sci-Fi Tales Volume 2.
Yay!
Yay!
Oh, woo. Oh, you know what? I struggled with which angle to approach this interview with, right? Like, how do I want to present this work? And I think the way that I would like to present it is the most transparent way. And what I mean by that is that this was the book that would not book. And what I mean is
Mm.
like I got it together. I'm like, no problem. I didn't roll up my sleeves. I did it once, I'll do it again. And then life was the life that indeed lifed. So that I had like a false rollout. I had an issue with the printer with couldn't get the spine correct. And it was like, then I switched over to it was just there was a lot going on. I think I probably should name the next one Quirky Black Sci-Fi Gray Hair. I don't know because the stress of just the logistics around doing self-publishing. But I stayed true to it, at least for this work, because I feel like I created my little baby universe, and it's a love letter to Black women especially. And that I know that's what you're all about, like just
Hmm.
helming the ship into new worlds or examining ourselves as leaders in different circumstances and in dimensions that are flipped on their head. And so I put a lot of love into the new work. I gave, I think, a good hodgepodge of urban. I always lead with the fun urban, salacious
Hmm.
tale, and then I get into some more little bit of heavy stuff. And then I always, and will always include a climate fiction tale. I've
Hmm.
made that
I
decision
love
before I
that.
even started the series. So this book also, Fumes, has a cli-fi tale. Um, and I love the feedback so far. Even when listen, some people eagerly bought the Raggedy Batch, and they did not complain about it. I looked for and I was and then I came out, on the for the to the people who bought it. I was like, if you need me to replace it, I know it had it was just it was so much. But it's up. It is available. The cover is aligned. I know, when I watch this like next year, I'm gonna be like, why would you admit that? Nobody had to know that. Like, we would have all forgotten about it.
But you
But I
know
just,
what?
I want people to know these things happen. And
Exactly.
yeah, so
That's what I was just going to say. I'm like, that's such helpful information because people are going to be listening to it and they're going to be piqued and they're going to go, oh, she's self-published, and then they're going to go, oh, well, I've had an idea or I wanted to write things. So the more I feel like the more people can know about the world of self-publishing, the better off everybody is. Because my experience is working as a bookseller. I worked as a bookseller at bookstores in DC, in independent bookstores for over 10 years, right? And the last bookstores I worked at, I know it was cool.
go
It was cool.
you got it.
One of the last bookstores I worked at was called Reprint Bookshop, which was one of the oldest bookstores in DC, but it was also like the first bookstore in DC to sell James Baldwin and Toni Morrison and some other people. Like they used to be on Pennsylvania Avenue, and
It's in Capitol Hill, right?
yeah, they used to be on Capitol
Okay.
Hill way back in the
I'm
day, and then
familiar.
they moved to L'Enfant Plaza, which is where I was working for them then. I mean, but yeah, so it had a long history, right? But so, people like Elin Harris and other people who started out selling their books out of the backs of their car, they would come in and sell their books on consignment,
Mhm.
and that is how I knew about self-publishing. There was all these people that would come in and they became super famous, but we knew them before when they were literally like they were like these are my troubles with trying to figure out the cover, and they come in
Yeah.
and like they come in rolling a cart full of books and be like, how many can you take and will you take them? And we'd have signings for them, and that's when I learned about how hard it is to self-publish a book.
Yeah, I would always tell people, um, whatever you can successfully outsource, if it's not going to create a hardship in your life, whatever you can outsource, always get the extra set of eyes. And for me, it's like a game of whack-a-mole. I'm like, haha, this time I got the extra set of eyes on this, and this. But then not the cover, right? And the last time I was like, cover flawless, but I probably needed an extra set of eyes on this, and this. And it's a learning curve. It's a process. Um, and I would say that it's amazing to watch the self-publishing space bloom and a
Mm,
lot of young voices, a lot of diverse voices who really kind of hit a brick wall trying to get that big publishing deal. And
mhm,
now there's such a wealth of opportunity, and also a lot of editors and a lot of people with all of these resources that pull back their veil almost in protest to this publishing industry. And they're saying, hey, kids, this is what I know. This is why you're not getting through. If you want to
mhm.
stay on this side, at least, spruce your stuff up by doing A, B, and C so that it looks like industry standard. And I'm a forever learner. I'm gonna be crafting this, working on my craft until the lights blink out, right? And I'm stardust. I'm gonna
Mhm.
keep working on this craft because I feel like each of these short story collections is me building a relationship. You building a relationship with your audience. And
Yes.
I want them to be like, wow, she's getting better and better and better. And I'm also reminded that I always go back to Stephen King because his story is so funny. Like for people who don't know it, but like when you think about the Bachman books, the fact that he had like gone through so much rejection, he didn't even want to write under his name.
Mhm.
And yeah, so he had the Bachman books, and I thought those stories were really good. But so many people whom I love to read got rejected to a point that would crush many a soul. And
Yeah.
so many people who are afraid to launch themselves because they feel like it's a second or third career, or afraid to launch themselves because they feel like, oh, I'm starting too late and there's too much new stuff out there. I don't know I'm gonna grasp it all. I feel like just like go for it. So
Mm.
I'm gonna keep going for it, and I hope people keep enjoying the stories.
There you go, speaking to my soul again.
I tell you. I think that's one of the things I caught in the introduction to the first book, the first volume, where you said that these stories had been sitting in a folder, and
Mm,
you thanked someone for making you take them out and give them to the world. Thank you, that person.
Yeah.
But talk a little bit about that. I mean, that's something that I
Okay.
think a lot of us struggle with. And how does it ever end? I mean,
I will say this, I don't wish for my catalyst to be anyone else's catalyst. And I say that because mine was my father passing away during the pandemic.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, he had cancer and it spread to his bones. It got very painful. And our merciful Lord took him out, surrounded by family and warm in his bed. But when he still could speak towards the end, the conversation that he chose to have with me, when he could have said anything, all of these gazillion things, right? And it was very painful for him to speak. And what he chose to tell me was that you think you have all this time.
Mm.
I'm telling you, you don't have all this time. If you have something you want to put out to the world, put it out. Put your stuff out, baby girl. And I was just like, and I went home. I think my hands were shaking, and I was just like, open folder, and I just looked at everything, and I'm like, what do I have? And when I first looked at it, I'm like, well, this is a pile of hodgepodge mess. And even halfway through, I'm like, this still might be a pile of hodgepodge mess. But then I just remembered, like, first of all, like have the gall of just like a mediocre man, right? Just putting
Mhm.
stuff up and barreling his way through
Mhm.
life. Um,
Yep.
just, just have the gall because eventually it's gonna become reflexive and you're just gonna get better because that's what writing is. Writing is like, I mean, like a muscle, right? Like your
mm,
heart, right? It's a
true,
muscle.
true, true.
And so, yeah, in a way, as well as being a love letter to Black women, it is a love letter to my father, who was one of those really amazing people who just knew what he was born to be. He picked
Mm.
up a saxophone and left the house at like 16 and just traveled
Mm.
the world playing his saxophone.
Wow.
And and I feel that way. Like people, well, my parents and my, people who knew me when I was small said I always, as soon as I could hold a little pencil, trying to craft some type of a story or some type of a poem. And so hopefully I'm doing his legacy some justice and honoring time, right? Which is our great life whittler. Um, so yeah, that was my catalyst. I don't wish that catalyst on anyone. I think just looking at how the world is repackaged again today and seeing how they, how quickly lives get snuffed out. This is an amazing moment in time to write something that is indicting, of the world, to write something that is challenging um of our systems, right? This is a beautiful time to put out that work. We're at a cocktail. We're in a Molotov cocktail,
Mm.
unfortunately. We're in a big old mixing bowl of grief and anger and resilience. And that's a perfect, recipe for sci-fi.
Mhm.
And I
Wow.
always say that women and people of color, we're especially positioned to write sci-fi, much to the contrary of all the
Mhm.
hegemonic voices who say that, oh, what can you ever do? You still haven't even reconciled your past. No, I would argue that people who've had these terrible pasts and had to deal with subjugation and colonial oppression, we're better positioned to write sci-fi because if anyone's going to imagine a world better than what it is, it's going to be the people who are most suffering under the
Hmm.
current
Mhm.
conditions, right?
Exactly.
So that's where I'm at with the world as it is. I'm trying to write some protest sci-fi if that's gonna be a thing.
Oh,
But
it's a thing.
yeah, I believe.
We're making it a thing. It's a thing.
Oh yeah. Shout out to reading Parable of the Sower in
I was
2024.
just going there.
I
Run
was gonna
one more time, right?
It always comes back to Parable of the Sower.
I want that message to reach everyone who hasn't had the aha moment. And they're like, oh, wait, is it? Oh,
hmm I had some people asking me like last week or week before last, like, should I read it? I mean, people are talking about it and I don't know, is it as good? I said, just read the book. I said, read the book and you're forever going to be changed.
Hmm.
Trust
Yeah.
me on that.
Yeah, I think that it's so beautiful because of the autonomy that the character claims. It's like it's that's the message. Like that's the crux of it. So
Lauren
um
Olamina,
what a name, right?
right?
What a name.
Oh,
Olamide just sound like somebody who could cook
thank
in a good way, in the best way. You know, cooking up yams, religion, all of that. Olamide just sounds like such a warm name she chose for such a
hmm.
dire circumstance. Olamina just like rolls off the
It
tongue.
rolls.
Such a
Yes, it's
yeah.
round and it's got curves and
Yeah, I
hmm.
like it. I like a round name.
Hmm. Yeah, I like how you said she was she's so autonomous. Like I think that's one of the most attractive characteristics about. I think that's one of the things that keeps
It
me
drew
coming back
me.
to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also a reminder that some people just they carry power with them, you know, and
Yeah.
they just affect people around them, even people that you would never, expect. And I love
Hmm.
that she wrote the characters around her to be those people you would never expect to listen to some youth that they found coming up the road. But
Right.
yeah, it's always gonna be one of my faves.
You've got
Always gonna
some
be one of my
amazing
faves.
characters too in your stories. Like that's one of the things that grabs me about your writing so quickly and easily. Like
I
you,
try to make them as problematic as possible.
they're, they're problematic and they're real, you know? They're real. They're relatable.
And I love the
Me and
names
my
you picked for them too. I mean, I'm going in volume one, and I loved, Emma, Dinah, the really girly name, Dial, Cherish. That was my favorite name, Cherish. I just said, oh
You
yeah, oh,
know what? I knew a Cherish, and she was just such a lovely. She was pretty lovely, lovely girl. And I was like, I like that name. I just like it.
Hmm.
I don't hear it a lot. I hear it more as a West African name than I
Mm.
do as an African American name. I really enjoy the name Cherish. Sweet. I think the one that the African Americans we always choose Faith, right?
Faith.
Like
Yeah.
Faith,
Hmm.
Faith and Cherish. But yeah, when I wrote the braided one, I
mhm.
tried to write myself in two different characters at two different stages, and I feel like a lot of girls are both Emma and Sharice. Like they in one lifetime, you can be either or. You can be alternating. You can be this sort of like I have my things together and I have my morals, or well, actually, you know what? I'm jumping ahead because you could be who Sharice becomes, right?
Hmm.
With enough, and I don't like to necessarily vilify or extol either. It's just this set of circumstances can produce this type of person, and this set of circumstances can produce this type of person. And what binds them together is that they definitely regret any choice that towards the end that adversely affects their children. It's just like their core, you know, you do something that kind of wrecks your kid, you're like, oh my God, what have I done?
Hmm.
So that's one of the things I loved about Broken Earth trilogy. When I was
Hmm.
Oh
Yes.
my
talking to
gosh, yes.
Isis about, yeah, there's just motherhood as a thread through all her stories. I'm a huge Jemison fan. Everyone
Me
knows
too.
that.
Oh yeah, we are too.
The
Hmm.
world building. Oh my God.
Alone, right? The world building is so complete.
It's
So
it's it's staggering. It is it's simple things, and I keep going back to it because it's the simplicity of things like dead civ. Why
hmm.
write out dead civilization when you can just say dead civ,
Right?
right? It just doesn't.
Right?
Yeah, and then people are like, "What? It sounds so simple, but it's the little things like that." So,
That they
man,
create the whole
I aspire.
and create all the texture in the story to make you feel like you're in a real world because we don't say all of our words. You know, we hyphenate, we use acronyms, you know, like,
Yeah.
Okay.
you know, and we just use them and we go, you know.
Listen, it's a master class in POV too. Like I
Hmm.
am just like, who are you reveal yourself? Like Feeling you get reading all three books, like tell me who you are. And then you get that beautiful aha moment. Everyone loves a beautiful aha moment. Um, I'm working on my aha moments. They're getting grander and grander. In the second book, I definitely have some stories that I feel like, oh, this is soul food, and then I have some stories that I'm like, no, this is the junk. I'm going to give you what you want. Exactly the thing that you want to happen to this character is going to happen to this character. And sometimes you need that. You need it to be like satisfying.
Satisfying, yes.
Please, you brought me this far. Please top it off.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Go ahead, Subrina.
So exactly.
I would like to know, I read that the second volume is being made into a comic series.
Oh, okay. So not every story, but as I was writing Fumes, I was like, oh man, you can see every story as a writer. You can sort of like visualize what are your characters saying. You imagine them in a room talking to each other, yapping. But then there's a level of setting that your brain really runs off with it. Like your brain can really see it as a visual. And at the time, I was attached to a very talented comic book artist, and I was really just immersed in comics while I was writing Fumes. And I was like, man, I would really, if nothing else, I would like to see Fumes as a comic book. And I was like, I know a guy. And so I was like, I'm going to send it to him just to see if this is the right pace, if there's enough story to even, because these are expensive ventures. Like, let me take a moment to say, good job to anyone who has published successfully a comic book, not even a series. Nay. Just one volume of anything successfully with your penciling and your colors and it's written and edited and all your panels. You are of the chosen ones. Yes, you are. Because there's so much that goes into it.
Ready to immerse myself in this exact thing. So I'm excited to do this. So
yes.
I'll let you know when it's done.
Well, the good thing about you guys is y'all have community. You have your tentacles out and onto all these fabulous people. So, and that's a good thing about all three of us. Like we know great people. And so I was like, you know what? And this is a funny story, actually. This is fun. So my mom has never been to any of these Comic-Con things that I go to, and she wanted to go. So Awesome Con was coming, and it was very last minute, and I was totally not going to invite her because I was like, she's gonna slow my, she's a newbie, man, whatever. So,
you're getting all snobby about it.
But I am of the etiquette that I'm just like, she's probably not going to want to go anyway. So I did ask, thinking that she's going to be like, oh, it's late notice. I don't even have a costume. But instead, what I got, of course, because she's my mom, was inquiry and intrigue. She was just like, well, what would I wear? How, could I go? And I was like, oh no, I could already feel her wheels turning. And so I was like, well, what do you have? What do you have? And then we can do a closet cosplay. Just basically that's when whatever you put together and we make it work thematically towards the character's aesthetic. And she's like, well, I have a bunch of purple. I've got a tutu that lights up and I've got some headbands. And I was like, Lumpy Space Princess. And she was like, Lumpy, who, what now? And I said, my son, he grew up with Adventure Time. And we really loved Adventure Time because people may not realize this when they're watching it, but it's one of the very few cartoons where the protagonist is aging in real time. Like when they first made the show, Bart Simpson is Bart forever, Lisa's forever. In many cartoons, the kids are the kids forever, static at that age, but not in Adventure Time. In Adventure Time, he was growing up. So my son grew up with Finn, and he grew up with Lumpy Space Princess, who is a very obnoxious cloud, this purple cloud princess who is hungry and curvy and bossy. And I love me some Lumpy Space Princess. She just knows all the boys. She knows she'd bring all the boys to the yard. She's just so much fun. I was like, Mommy, you should do this character. So baby girl got it together. When she was like, okay, I'm coming in the house. I got all my stuff. Just do a check of my costume. And I'm like, sure. And I'm thinking, it'll be fine. Whatever she needs help with, I'll help her. No, I needed help. She needed help. Okay, she should help me with I went as as Prince Zuko, but the
Oh.
hijabi version. And she came through the door. She was Lumpy Space Princess. She had on the
Mm-mm.
purple spiral curl wig. She had made
Wow.
a headband with a big star.
Wow.
And oh, my hijab, it blows my hijab off every time I think about it. And she just looked amazing. She got way more press than I did. Oh my gosh. You would have
Oh
think
my
that
God.
she was like a paid cosplayer coming through there. And I say that to say that the one of the main reasons I went to Awesome Con was I was like, Greg Burnham's gonna be there, and I want to talk to Greg.
Mm.
Right. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're not familiar, he has done so much work in the comic book space, indie side. Um, he's worked with an editor of blacksci-fi.com,
Mm.
Robert
Yeah.
Jeffrey. So I kind of know him through him in a way because they came up in the same spaces. He has um he has one called Tuskegee Airs that has such
Yes.
a fandom that people actually like cosplay. A matter of fact, when we were there, people showed up in Tuskegee Air cosplay, and I was
Oh my
but
God, I have every volume that's been written so
so,
far.
oh my,
So
I have some still in mint. I have some mint because I just know they're
Mm.
gonna be worth $1 gajillion. So if I ever need to like, pay a mortgage or something, I don't know.
you should
Pay
meet Robert
rent rather.
Jeffrey. You
So
should.
he was there and it was like trying to find Waldo in this huge, I was like, where are you? And then my Wi-Fi was sketchy. He was like, I'm over here. So we're like messaging back and forth. Finally, I found his table. It was like going to the Mecca. Got to his
Oh,
table.
wow.
And he was just so personable. And I was like, hey, I came here because I wanted to talk to you in person about something. 'Cause some things you just want to talk to somebody in person about it,
Mm-hmm.
if you can, if they're gonna be in town. So I was like, I've got this story. I'm not sure. Could I send it to you? And that's all it was. And mind you, I didn't know what kind of yes he gave me because there's the yes that's a face value yes, and then there's a yes as in aw.
Right? Uh-huh.
after
Bless your
after the
heart.
1,700 million things that I have to do that are paid and important to me, I might get to it. There's that kind of yes. And luckily for me, it was a face value yes. And he read it and he liked it. And we are hammering it out. We are
That's
in the
oh,
pages
wow.
stage. And I am so grateful. And mind you, we're in baby stages. He might even be annoyed that I'm even announcing. But yeah, we're adapting and I'm excited about it. I'm trying to see this thing through. I have allotted what I need to allot to do what we need to do. And yeah, hopefully we'll see Fumes. You will see
Oh,
Eula
That's so
and
crazy because I just met
Citra.
Robert Jeffries and he's
I
helping
love it.
our comic book as well. So Robert, if you're listening, and
I
we
know
know
you
you
are.
are, how you doing?
Robert is a gem. I will sing his praises on a mountaintop. Robert is such a thoughtful creator and such a very just one of those people who just like a highly like moral person who's got a good work ethic. Like I
Mhm.
can't really say, enough good things about him. Working
Mm.
with him and working with our go between Tiara. But Tiara's more listen, me trying to act like she's like in any way is like my PR person. No, that's my friend. Like that's my friend. She know me. She's known me forever. She knows all my little mood swings. She was like, "Oh, you're hungry. I'll just email you later. Eat Snickers or something. Or I don't know what's going on with you." Also a beautiful, driven person who has a workout right now, Zone 11 and other dope tales.
Mm.
And yeah, so like I said, that just brings it back to all three of us. We know some great people and the people overlap. That's what I was telling Sabrina
That's
earlier.
so
I was
crazy.
like, we've got some people in common. So I'm excited. It's a very new chapter for me. And no matter how it goes, no matter how the experience goes, I am just interested in the comic book space. I'm
Hmm.
interested in it because I took a screencraft like just a screenwriting class, right? I took this little boot camp, and it really is a different brain
Hmm.
because when you're looking at just at words, it's okay, you need to make sure that you're emoting because they can't see what the characters are doing. And then when you're doing any visual medium, you chop all these words and chop all this dialogue,
Yeah.
and the character just needs to make this expression, or they just need to be in setting, looking in a direction, and then that just eliminates 1,700 words of, and so that's a different brain for me. That's it. So even if this is just like, even just a learning experience, I think it's a valuable one, learning how to write so concisely for a visual medium.
Yeah.
And I think it's useful, in case I want to have something adapted into film or short, or, you just never know. It's a good way to tune my brain, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very
Brain
different.
needs tuning. Whew,
I mean, Subrina, you know that, right?
Yeah, I'm sitting here struggling right now because I started a story, and it is a book. It started out as a book outline, but then I went to film school, and just now I'm seeing it differently. And it's funny because I was deciding to write it, should I finish it as the book or should I write it as the screenplay? And I started writing it as the book and realized that my brain just works the other way. It just really does. So I was, you know what? I'm a screenwiter. I'm going to do it this way and see, somebody
brain
else.
is always determined, just I guess just work against it. I've decided that now. Okay. Sit down and write this book, this story, this comic book now. Okay, I guess it's a comic book now. Just like
Hey, it's whatever
it
want to make it.
I think that
Black women getting into the comic book area too. So we've got Yvette Badaki is coming out with a comic book now, and from Strange New Worlds and from American Gods, she's coming out with a comic book that I can't wait. Well, a graphic novel, and I am just so excited for this.
Love for American Gods. It's huge love.
Yeah, absolutely, so good.
Great writing.
The book itself is amazing, and the TV show is amazing too.
Yeah. So much with that TV show. We could have a whole nother
So much.
show.
I know that's a whole nother
show.
See if we can get her back on there. We can talk about it. Oh, look, I think that's a good thing. So I know we might have our other person coming. Yay.
Oh, yeah.
But I just wanted to clarify that really quickly, that when Subrina said, yeah, we're working on our comic book too, folks, she is not talking about the Sci-Fi Sisters working on a comic book. It's another entity doing a comic book. So, do not write us and be like, Sci-Fi Sisters, when are you coming out with your comic book? It is not happening.
I'm going to do it anyway as a troll to force you guys to come out of
that. Is not.
I'm going to get an anonymous account. I'm like, when is the sci-fi one coming out though?
Let's stop right now. Stop.
Hey,
I'm so glad I popped on because this is crazy.
Don't worry, you're taking it out of context. Don't sweat.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Hi, Mashai.
Yay.
I gotta give it, since we're talking about women in comics, I gotta give a shout out to Dr. Shamika Mitchell, she is just a champion of women in comics.
Yes.
She has Salam Fandom Space at all of the comic cons and meetups, and just a really dope human. So I just love about her.
She's actually having one in New York City. I believe next week.
New York Comic-Con? Oh, for
women in comics. They're having a salon.
The collective.
Yeah, I think so.
Great
and they
people.
Invited us, but my nephew graduates that day, so
it's graduation season. Everybody's graduations and weddings.
Yeah. It's here in New York City, so I didn't know if you guys wanted to come for like one night for that. So
I'm in Texas.
Yeah.
We were having a deep conversation about MTI's new book that one of the stories is going comic book route. And so we were talking about comic book. I was talking about the comic book of the other organization that I'm involved in, which I'm not going to name it yet because we're still negotiating. But,
can you give us a little, how much can you give us?
I can't give you anything yet.
Okay. That's fair.
It's gonna be a comic book series. The Sci-Fi Sisters may be on a wall panel of the comic book.
That was
But
my pitch.
what we're realizing here in our conversation is that MSHI and I are talking to the same person, Robert Jeffrey, about the comic
Oh,
book. So
perfect. Absolutely
it's a
perfect.
small world.
I know,
Absolutely
right?
perfect. I apologize for popping in late also.
Oh, you're all good, sister girl. We know how life is. We're happy you're here. That's all.
You see, I popped on. Otherwise, I asked, I said, should I even bother? I was like, you know what? I'm coming on anyway.
Yes, you should, because everybody out there wants to hear you
Glad to have
too.
you.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know,
Okay.
come on, Sabrina. I know you got some more questions on your list because you had a whole bunch of them.
Well, yeah, we talked about a little bit about, what did you call it? It was like, this is the first time I've ever really heard this word. I'm just going to admit it. Cli fiction?
Cli-fi, climate.
Sci-fi.
Sci-fi.
Yeah.
Cli-fi?
It's
Okay,
like
that was a
sci-fi.
new word for me, but
That's
I'm
a whole
I love
genre
that.
now.
Mhm.
That's a whole genre all on its own now.
Oh yeah, and I noticed it. Now I have the volume 2, but I have not started that yet. But volume 1 I did read, and I love the fact that almost every one of the stories you had some sort of rain, water, way. Some. I was like, what is with the thunderstorms and the
Yeah,
going?
I don't know. I'm obsessed with it. There's always some water. It's lots of water, and then there's another water tale in volume 2 called Pool Pass,
I
which
love it though. The
yeah,
water
Pool Pass.
pure.
It made my mom laugh because my mom is like, just put her in water and give her some fins. She is a fish. She is
Mm.
a swimmer, and the rec center that is in Pool Pass is loosely based on this rec center that she goes to. So I know she
Um,
thinks she just probably gives her a hoot every time she reads it.
That's cute.
Yep, my life leaks in. My life leaks in.
It's supposed to, right?
Yeah.
That's what makes it real. That's how people connect. When they hear, I know with us, when they hear little antidotes. I mean, that's why we got into sci-fi, I think, because, you know, the representation, the little things, the human stories that they put in sci-fi always kind of resonate with us in some kind of way. And you
Very
connect to that
true.
character. So,
yeah, I always feel like, the best science fiction and fantasy is character driven, right? I mean, it's all about reflections on us,
right.
you know. I mean, like, I like ships, I like space battles, I like space opera, I like intrigue in space, I like
Mhm.
intrigue in the way back times or in some fantasy setting, but it means nothing if you don't have interesting characters who are,
Yeah.
the story is actually about. It's just kind of an empty, it's the shell of it.
Yeah.
So I really feel like that is the importance of sci-fi and fantasy in my life as a Black woman, um, relating to, like we were talking about a little bit earlier, telling the stories that need to be told um, in these hard times. And a lot of those stories, it can be stories of joy, and triumph, as well as the hard stuff, but
Yeah.
like you said, that we as, you know, um, people who been colonized, been enslaved, we have a different view on what I believe it means to be uh, alien and other and different.
Yes. Yes. One of my favorite commentaries just on the current political events were all the kids making these parallels about these big space opera movies that we love, Star Wars and Dune and all of this, basically any Avatar, and pointing out
Mhm.
that we keep making these movies where we make we draw the line in the sand between the good and the bad and the empire and the rebels, and then we are pro-empire, like in real life.
Right,
And so
right.
even the kids are starting to be like, I've seen this movie, and I'm pretty sure our state is the bad guys. Our state would be the bad guys. We are not, we're not the people who are loving the spirit of the trees. We're definitely the ones who are coming to reap the resources. So yeah.
Yeah. We are not the
That's a
Jedi.
that's an interesting point though, because I feel like that is a generational thing. Like I don't know that we were viewing it like that back in the late 70s. We weren't when like say like take Star Wars for instance when it first came out. I mean, granted, I was a kid, so I wasn't viewing anything like that. I mean, I really wasn't. I was like, it was just like pew pew, yay. Oh, furry things. Okay. All right.
It's most American movies right there. Pew
Right,
pew, yay.
pew pew, yay, and furry things. That's the movie. But the older audiences, like I don't even know that I don't think that the consciousness of the country at that time would see ourselves as the empire. Some people might have, but I feel like it was far fewer than it is now. I think that like each successive generation, more and more of the wool, we have less wool covering our eyes, right? And these generations of kids now and younger people younger than me, I feel like they're like, no, we've seen all of it, because my mom's generation was still like, oh my God, JFK got shot. Oh my God, MLK got shot. Oh my God, Malcolm X got shot. Like, who would have thought these assassinations? Now we're like, yeah, of course like we know that they got shot. We know they got taken down. That they're used to this stuff. They see things differently.
I think the kids, so first of all, my mom's government would have been the most opaque government, right? The government she grew up with. So half of the trust was there because you couldn't, there
Right.
was a brick wall and the public was walled out from all these injustices. And then as these big scandalous, cases started to hit the mainstream media, you had like Gen Xers being like, hey, maybe the government isn't so hot. And then the millennials was like, we still have hope. We can still buy a house.
Right.
So that's me. Like, literally, we can still buy a house, right? And so now even that's pretty much dissipated. So I think that the interesting space that the kids are in now is just like, well, we don't have free healthcare. We can't afford to buy a house. What are we supposed to be saving ourselves for? Like,
right.
People are like, oh my God, these kids are risking their futures. The kids are like, what futures? You're
What
burning
future?
the earth. The oceans are going to be on fire or full of plastic. We can't buy a house. They're like, the kids are they're enraged, and rightfully so. And on top of that, they have full transparency. And I'll give you an example. When I was hearing conflicting stories around, I know that I'm trying to be safe here, the events of the last several months, I would watch the news and I'm like, okay. And then I could simply go in my Snapchat and I could just go in the map and blow it up to this specific place that was on the news and boop. And I could see on the ground people
what was actually happening.
Exactly. So kids are able to do that. So it's like the way that the news was able to really control people, and I'm not taking anything away from the power of the media today because it is so powerful to really drill people all day from all sides. But the kids are now like, actually, let's do peer-to-peer. Let's do research. Let's disseminate peer-to-peer. And the government is like, wait, no, don't do that. Like, and the kids
we need
like,
to get rid of TikTok.
Okay, we're gonna do peer-to-peer. Yeah, and as they're doing this peer-to-peer, they're like, they're like, oh my God, but the wool is being pulled, way earlier than my wool was pulled, right?
Yeah.
So it's pulled with their knees are still good and they still have energy and they're and they're ready to burn down with their good knees and they're galvanized. The kids are galvanized.
There's nothing like good knees.
That's right.
I do my little yoga, and I always joke that I have one like Megan Thee Stallion knee and one Morgan Freeman knee. Like one and they balance each other out. I have one has an old basketball injury.
That's my hips. Got one good one and one bad one.
She did not bring out Megan Thee Stallion and Morgan Freeman
in the same body,
in the same sentence.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Because you need a dichotomy. You need balance.
I love it. Right? I love it.
And that's our anime queen right there. So
she's the best. I love her.
But the kids are all right. They're mad about the things. I feel like they are they are entitled to be mad about.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I
Their future
totally
air
agree.
quality,
Yep.
their future security, to purchase real estate or buy, their future, period.
Their
So,
future,
Right,
period.
their
yeah.
future. Yeah. And they're, like you said, they're doing it so much earlier because I didn't wake up to my truth and my power until I was in college.
Right.
That's when I
Right.
finally figured out how powerful I was and how much truth I could find out. When I grew up, all the truth I had was in encyclopedias. I mean, that's
Right.
basically it. But then once I got to college and found out what was going on in South Africa, that's what blew my mind and was like, wait a minute, what is happening? My country is doing what? What are we doing here? But I know my children, like you said, Snapchat, they know where to go. They've been doing this since what, 2017, maybe
Yeah.
more.
And I hate that for them. Like
I do too.
I
Yeah.
remember my mom took me to my first rally when I was maybe 15 or 16, and it was a Free Mumia rally.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I remember, yeah.
yeah, and I remember like maybe even like 8 or maybe 10 years ago, and I had just been
Mhm.
marching and marching and marching. And one day I think we were just in the kitchen, and I was like, I'm marching for the same things you march for. Essentially, if you really break it down, I'm kind of like I'm doing the thing. And my mother
Mhm.
just quietly said, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And these kids are, I mean, the people are putting side by sides up of the encampment versus the Vietnam, just
Mhm.
anti-war protests are cyclical because
Yep.
our,
Yep.
government is engaged in war cyclically
Cyclic.
over and
Yeah.
over again. But I don't want to drag
Yeah.
down the edge. I said, I told myself you're not going to do this, M. Shine.
No,
No, no, no, no.
Look, because you're on our show and this is where,
The
we
conversation
talk real
goes, yeah.
talk. But I was
Yeah.
just having a conversation with a young lady the other day, and she's just like, I guess she's 20 something. She's very young, and she was like, well, would you call yourself uh, you know, bitter? And I was like, no, I was like, I'm not pessimistic. I just
Mm-mm.
don't like, I was like, but I just don't see the point of marching anymore. I was like, I have marched.
Yeah.
I have marched and I have marched and I have marched.
Mhm.
And I don't see marches doing a damn thing unless
Mhm.
it's like a gazillion people marching, unless we're having a day of absence or many days
Yeah.
of
There
absence
has to be some action
marching.
involved.
And I was like, I was like, but I don't not see the point of it either. I was like, we have to continue to engage in this sort of activity. I was like, but I just believe that there's a lot of other things that have to go on at the
Mhm.
same time
Yeah.
in order to make an impact. The world is not like it used to be when marching alone could
Mhm.
change some stuff,
Right.
We're
you know?
talking mobilization versus organization. I
Mhm.
went to, I wish I could remember who gave this talk. Someone pointed out, and I'll find it. I'll find out who it was and get back to you. But what I took away from it was that with the March on Washington, you had mobilization and organization. They had
Mhm.
all these CTAs, all these
Yep.
calls to action, and they had mobilization. They
Yep.
could move the people without any this interconnectivity that we have today, right? They had both. Today, it's kind of it's a double-edged sword, social media, right? Because you have a
Mhm.
huge swath of people who are doing vanity activism, right? They
Yes.
just want to show up and they just want to wear a cool kafaya. They want to dance to traditional Palestinian music. And it's where all their friends are. It's what's
Mhm.
happening, right?
Yep.
It's in vogue. This cause is in vogue. Um, and that but even those people are able to mobilize, but people who are able to organize, that takes grit, and it takes
Yes.
a lot of focus, and it
Mhm.
takes people who are not prone to distraction and who will stay with it when the cause is not sexy
Right.
anymore. And
Yes.
our attention spans to do this, and I'm saying I mean millennials on down is greatly affected by the fact that, first of all, well, to our credit, there is so much injustice. We're
Mm.
trying to keep up with it. You're
Right.
trying to keep, Black men and boys and Black people in general safe at home, and we're, in battle with that. And then you're like, oh, we're also watching women get essayed in mining villages in the Congo. Oh, we're trying to keep up with how heartbreaking that is. And then we're watching people pull their toddlers out of the bubble, and we're trying to keep up with that. So to our credit, there's a lot of, balls in the air, but also it's like we gotta keep with the CTAs because that's what our predecessors had. They
Yes.
had, okay, yeah, you're going to show up on this march so that we have a visual. Like they see the bodies, they see the support, they know what this means for the polls if they don't, if they don't side with us. So that is sometimes the visual is important for that. Like all of these people, you count the heads. These are people who are adamantly on the ground saying they're not going to vote for you. So even just get that snapshot of the number, but then you also need, okay, what do the people do when they go home? Does it matter that they showed up? And that's what makes, you and me tired of marching, because like when you get home and you're following all these people who are actively, literally, I think I'm a tinfoil hat right now, behind closed door, I think paid to distract you, right? I think they're having meetings, like secret meetings, like let's shift the narrative, right?
Yes.
So you're following those people to like get away from that distraction and do your CTAs, the divestment, keep with the boycott. You don't need a chicken nugget, you need a revolution, right? So like you don't need a $6 coffee, and you don't even know where your coffee comes
stop there.
from. You don't even know where your coffee comes. Like I have learned so much from the youth. I did not know that Mocha is a port city in Yemen. Mocha is a port city in Yemen. When I think of the word mocha, when I think of the word mocha, I think of trendy yoga moms having a
latte or something, right?
And that is what happens when we don't keep our eye on the ball. Stuff gets so washed out of our head. And so that's why, the kids need the mobilization with the good knees, and they need the organization with their good brains before they forget why they came up the stairs.
Yeah.
So they have those things.
Do you know when you Google mocha, like all these other things come up? The first thing that comes up is a coffee, and then a color, like as in some suede damn shoes.
Yep.
And then all these places that are in your area named mocha, like all these different coffee places, nearby events. I'm still looking for the port city in Yemen. I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling.
You have to actually type it out.
I'm scrolling and you will not find it.
Wow.
You have to literally probably type Mocha port city in Yemen. But that's just sort of like an anecdote or like it's just basically like a small little nugget that shows if someone controls the narrative long enough that they will literally wipe. Like this is the source. It's called mocha because that's the source of the coffee. Like literally, it's like Black people unearthing the fact that Black people made country music. It's like if we don't take our eyes, if we take our eyes off the ball, it only takes 10, 15 years to just completely wipe what happened. I'm in Texas right now. Texas scares me sometimes because the stuff they want to yank or have yanked out of the textbook is scary.
It's scary.
Because it only takes, 1 or 2 generations for kids to be like, oh yeah, the workers that came over to help build the country. They're just like, everybody knows about the workers.
When I was growing up, nobody really talked about slavery in school anyway. I didn't learn about slavery in school. I learned about slavery at home. I learned about it, from Roots, basically.
From Roots.
Basically, really learned about slavery from Roots.
What we learned about slavery, when you and I were in school, like what we learned about slavery was like a page, and then Lincoln freed the slave, and I had a picture.
That's all I know. That's all I remember from school.
Of some happy pickaninny, like
smiling.
Massa.
But the thing is, as Black people, we have to make sure we go back to stories and teaching in school, because that's how I learned about my history. Is from my older. I lived we lived with everybody when I was growing up. Everybody lived in that apartment or the apartment upstairs, or they were across the street. So those people lived that life. My great grandmother was the last child that her parents had. The rest of them were slaves. She was their free baby. So that, she was only a year after slavery she was born. After emancipation she was born. So slavery was not far away in our family. When I tell people that and they're looking at me, I'm like, slavery was not that far ago.
It's far away right now.
It ain't that far away.
Privatized prison system.
Yeah,
but that's for another show.
But that's why, like, just to bring it back around though, that's why I feel like your writing and other people's writing is so important. The stories that you tell, placing us in the future, looking back to the past, looking at the things that we've gone through to get where we're going, and telling our own stories to be authentic to ourselves, true to ourselves, and speak for us. I feel like that's vitally, vitally important.
And I think that's why a lot of speculative fiction, Afrofuturism that's being written now is so popular, because people are finding things that they want to know or learn in these stories, because they're not finding them in school and they're not finding them in books. And so they read these stories and they're like, what? And then we'll go back, like this one nugget or this one thing or one word that's being said, and you sort of go off on a tangent because you do have Google and you can find it out now. And I think that's really great. And one of the things I like to put in things that I'm writing is that history that we were never told. And, didn't know any of this. Like I wrote a screenplay and it was called Double Victory. And I didn't realize that this whole double victory campaign that came out in World War II, where people did this V symbol like that, was really Black people saying they wanted a victory in Europe and a victory at home. They said they would fight for the United States in Europe if they got what they wanted, that they needed here in the United States. They wanted to work in the factories that were making the warships. The only reason why they got into that was because America had their ass in the bags again, and needed the Black workers. So yeah, they passed the law, let them work in the factories. But they wanted all these other things to happen, this fairness and work and going places. And they're like, you want me to go fight Hitler? Well, I haven't got anything against this man. I got problems with you. So this whole campaign was something that I had never heard of. And then after I read about it, I'm looking through my parents, some writings that they had, and they had the emblems, the double victory emblems on these pieces of clothing and things that my father had. And I was like, I never knew what this meant.
See, I would love to see that on Antiques Roadshow. What the hell?
Right.
Okay.
I wrote it.
It means what it meant on Star Trek, live long and prosper. That's what they wanted. That's what they wanted.
That's when you said that, I was like, just like we always say, it always comes back to Star Trek. In life, it always comes back to Black people. If you really go back, it always comes back to us. Everything that's going on now, you keep searching, you keep going back. It was a Black person in the beginning, and white people just ran away with it. And just like we were saying before, how many years pass by, the Black person doesn't even exist anymore. It's part of the culture, and Black people had nothing to do with it. So we need to keep looking back. But I love that and hopefully all this Afrofuturism, all these writings will keep getting people to, start looking back and picking up those nuggets, because I love the nuggets.
That's the beauty of the art and the writing, the visual art, even from textiles, even stories told through textiles. The beauty of it is that even if mainstream media, if we get hit with an EMP and all this stuff gets wiped out, we have a record. So that people can read, like, okay, when did this book come out? this book is describing something crazy. And then it
Mhm.
doesn't matter how they could have taken all the stuff off the internet, but they'd be like, but this book,
That's it.
this has
Mhm.
to be coming from somewhere, right?
Somewhere.
It's
Yeah.
like, I likened it to like the kids watching the Watchmen, and they were like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What happened to a what town now? And
Yep.
they were
Mhm.
blown away. They're like, no,
Yep.
it didn't happen. The government did what? I'm like, look, y'all better go,
Mhm.
Listen
go
here
crack,
now.
crack these books. Yeah.
Very
And that's
true.
why I do appreciate artists like I'm a fan of Donald Glover because
Yeah.
Donald Glover, for his last season of Atlanta, he really went into deep into Afro surrealism, and he put some stories. He tried to pull from some real stories that
Mm.
Mm.
had real tidbits in there. Like I think he had the Lake Lanier story uh, as an intro to one, like the little vignette before they start the
Hmm.
actual storyline. And what I found so interesting is like that is just so brilliant for artists to do because people are like, wait, what? How many lakes, man-made lakes used to be black towns? And
Mm.
then you pull a thread, and when you go Google, you're like, oh, well, that's horrible.
Mhm.
I mean, but now
Yeah. Now you
a
know.
lot
Yeah.
of a lot of lakes were, the opening the levees
Hmm.
before some people even got a chance to evacuate and get out of
Yep.
there. So, and there were more than I thought. I thought there were like maybe one or two. I think
No,
there's like
it's
Or famous
five.
or
Yeah.
famous parks in New York City.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
Central Park or Dulles
Oof.
Airport.
Mm.
yep,
Mm.
Um,
there's another one.
yeah,
Oof. Wow.
yeah.
Mhm.
You pull a thread, but
Hmm.
kids need to pull the threads, or
Yeah.
they're not gonna, they
Right.
need to pull the threads.
I think that the responsibilities have shifted in a different way. It's like, I mean, our responsibility has always been to guide the the ones coming up behind us. I just think it's how we're guiding them. I think they're challenged in a way that we weren't challenged because they're like you were alluding to before, there's so much information coming
Hmm.
at you all the time. Who do you trust? Right?
A lot of fake
And like
wrong information.
You
there's
got
there's a lot of misinformation. That's my point.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
there's a lot of misinformation going on that sounds is packaged in a way that sounds legit,
yeah,
and anybody and this has been proven like it from charlatans from the beginning of time and the snake oil salesman to today. Anybody, lots of people know how to get up and act like they know what the hell they're talking about, you know and will just be feeding a bunch of crap,
Hmm.
and like I mean like and that's what I'm seeing like on some of the with some of the younger people that I know, and they swear out like no, because I watched this guy and he does this show on YouTube. And if you watch him, he'll break down all of the things. I'm like, but it's not based in fact, baby. Like
Hmm.
you gotta, like, and that's what I find a little bit. So I feel like it's just up to us to keep doing what we're doing, all in our respective ways, to try to put as much accurate information out there as we can, to help try because like they're not going to learn it in school. They're not going to learn it
yeah,
from any place else. They're not going to learn it from mainstream media for sure.
yeah. We're moving into a difficult time because it used to just be, okay, this is a false narrative. It lands on Snopes eventually, debunked. But now
Hmm.
you also have false images.
Yep.
And for how quickly we scroll, um, you can miss it. Somebody sent an image to me the other day, and I had to really scrutinize this image. I had to really look at it and be like, okay, this is not a real image.
Mm.
But mind you, the software, these tools have just rolled out to the public for a handful of years ago. So within a decade, they are gonna look
Yep.
indiscernible.
Yep.
Right. And so now we're going to have false narratives with imagery to back it up, which used
Hmm.
to be our bread and butter for saying
Right.
whether
That
it
used to be our
happened or not,
go-to, the
right?
proof, right?
So now it's just like, and it's the implications for freedom fighters and oppressed people, for somebody to be able to just place you in a setting or place you in an act that you didn't commit, or I mean, it's dire. So yeah, the babies have their work cut out for. We all do.
We
We
all
all do.
do. Hmm.
The way we challenge that is to, keep writing, making art, and sharing info and sharing, it's writing things that are insightful in the best way, insightful,
Yes.
like really, not like with an S, but like with a CIT, like really, really actually like, I want you to be a little angry after
Mm,
you read it. Like be a little angry and then wonder about it, think about it, and then ask yourself, what can you do even within your daily routine to change it?
hmm
Um, and that's how we beat back the evil. It just ebbs and it flows. We old knees get tired and new knees come to the forefront and
hmm
it ebbs and it flows. So that's why
I
I'm gonna
love
keep
that.
writing. I'm gonna have in volume 3, I'm gonna have someone kick some evil butt. I'm gonna have somebody kick some evil butt. It's gonna be fun. So, so if I don't get my justice in the real world, I'm gonna have my justice in my fiction. I'm gonna let someone, because the next one is there was the braided one, the twisted one, and the dreaded one. And before y'all get on me about like, oh no, they're locks. No, this is not that. These are literally cables coming out of this person's head, and it's so terrifying.
Mm.
We're calling her the dreaded one.
Dreaded
Oh,
one.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's
oh,
the final. That's the end of
oh,
the story. The braided one was the first, the twisted one, and then the last one is the dreaded one.
I
Oh,
can't wait. I can't wait to read that. I mean, like I have fallen in love with your writing. Really, I fell in love with you as a human being and the way that when I first met you and
What you
just
think?
yeah, I mean, it's so true, because you just have I'm a sucker for a person who can use words in a way that's brand new to me, and it's just like the most wonderful
You're brand
balm
new to my
on my
editor too.
soul.
He's like, are you sure what you meant to say?
Oh
Yeah,
my
I know
In
what I
this
meant to
order?
say. Yeah, I meant that. I
Red
say what
pen,
I
red
mean, and I
pen.
mean what I say. So y'all, I'm trying to tell y'all, you got to get this woman's books. And you have a book of poetry, right?
Yeah, I do. So the fun fact, and I've been very quiet about this, I'm doing a second edition because I really wanted to fatten it up because I have a second book of poetry coming out, and I was like, oh, it'd be cool to release a new edition of the first one. It's called Woman In Sujud. And Woman In Sujud in Islam, we have prayer, and the prayer has stages. Sujud is the lowest, most humble position in the prayers when your forehead is, to the floor, your center of gravity is up, you're in prostration. And there's just so much of myself. Literally, it's like little bits of myself that I gathered all the way back from undergrad, all the way through my marriage to my son's father, and through motherhood, and through divorce, and through um, this period of where I felt like, what's it all for? Like this nihilistic period, like everything is, and love point, everything is in there. And that was my sweet little, intro into the poetry world. And then the next one is rage. I
Mm,
am angry. I have been writing angry poetry. I have been writing poetry from myself and against myself as a
Mhm.
comfortable American. I've written some work for this new book that is really me dissecting myself and hoping that, inviting others to dissect themselves. Like, what does our comfort cost really?
mm,
Mhm.
And what little fraction of it can we collectively give up so that Sudan is okay, Congo is okay, so that oppressed people are okay. Um, and and it's just this open-ended, that's the question for this next body of work. And
mm,
I've been letting it write itself at its own
Mhm.
pace. I wrote on the plane ride down here. Sometimes I'm really in it, like, oof, I'm mad.
Mhm.
You're
mhm,
mad at these, these
Yeah.
news stories, and you're mad at these, some talking head or some government guy says something so just blah, and you're just like, yeah. So I'm letting it write itself at its own pace, and it'll definitely be a thicker book, than the first, which says a lot. That the first one was more about, love and life, and it was just a slim little volume, and this one is about this
mm.
is protest poetry, and it's probably going to be big as the Expanse volume.
There's a lot going on, so I get it.
It is, yeah, it's a lot going on. And I said to someone who had the position of what should we care? We're tired and overworked here, and we have our own problems. And I said, well, care for your own vanity at least. One day your grandkids will somehow find this snapshot of history and ask you, what were you doing? And are you just gonna say scrolling? You don't have anything to show them. You don't have, you didn't send a letter, you didn't send a dime, you didn't share a thought, in support of like, what are you gonna, I can't imagine what my grandkids would think of me. Like if they, could find out this horrible thing and they march in the house from school and they're mad. You know how when you learned about slavery, you get so mad, your little hands fist balled up. If my grandkids barge into the house, into Granny's house, and they found out about what's going on right now, and they asked me where was I and what did I do, I would like to show them a record that I raged against it as hard as I could, and then I would encourage them to do the same.
Do the same.
Yeah, I just said.
You and these yellow nails. I actually love this color.
Thank you. I'm vibing with yellow these days.
I love this color.
Thank you. It makes me feel powerful and invigorated. When the world, like we're just talking about, but there's a lot going on in our world, just like even outside of the little microcosm of our daily like works and the people around us. There's just so much. And then sometimes I feel like I need more brightness, and that's what that's why I've been vibing with yellow. I feel like really hard. Like I've got a lot of yellow earrings right now and yellow bracelets and
black rest is resistance.
Yes.
Black rest and black joy.
Yeah.
Is resistance. Dude,
yes.
Do all the yellow.
And
a yellow candle.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And I was just talking the other day, like I was trying again, the
yellow cake,
the yellow cake, yellow. I feel like I was telling I work with a lot of people who are much younger than me, in my job, like I employ people and they're younger than me. So I'm being challenged every day with that. I'm always in this very different mindset. Like I take for granted the way that I think about the world because I'm used to being around people, my peers of the same age group. Culturally, we are very similar. And these people are not for me, like I don't, it's foreign, literally. So I don't understand what they're saying half the time, and they're laughing at me like, "Oh, you old person."
So the yellow nail is so that when you reach to wring their neck, the yellow reminds you to calm down. You look at your yellow nails, you're like,
I oughta. But like I was having this, and I was having this conversation with one of the young women, and I was just like, "Look, I'm telling you, I know the world is full of shit. I know that there's a lot that we are mad at, but I was like, let me tell you something, baby, that's really vital. You cannot let these people steal your joy. You never, when people steal your joy, they have won. I always have something to be grateful for every day. Always. And I was like, and besides, like I walk in my truth as a Black woman. I know who I am today, and I know what that means. It's powerful. I have nothing to be ashamed of, and I have nothing to be afraid of. And I have every moment on here to smile and give something to this world. As much, I was like, so come on, baby. Like, life is good. Like there's some horrible things about life, but guess what? Life has been this way since we started lifing.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not good or bad. It's just life.
Right.
There's no judgment on it. Like if it wasn't happening in this form, it would be taking another form. Oppression is not new to the human race. Human beings do this to each other. There has been no utopia when human beings didn't oppress each other or fight over territory or supplies and resources. Like this is what happens in the life when you put not as hairy apes.
Root for the robots.
I'm just saying.
That's been my suspicion all along. Like, should we lean into
Hey, I have secretly been waiting for it like forever. Ever since I read my first cyberpunk back in the 80s.
Oh
Back in
gosh.
the 80s when I read my first cyberpunk, and I was like, wait, we can get an implant? You're talking about getting implants and we could be connected. Oh, yeah. Come on,
Shout out
sign me
to
up. And now I'm like, now that we know all the implications of all of this, and I'm like, yeah, no, I don't think so. No,
Oh,
no,
thank you.
Google. You cannot
I'm
have
waiting
me.
for the Vulcans.
Oh
I'm
God.
waiting for the Vulcans too. First contact is coming around the corner.
Because the machines,
Vulcans are
humans
so
are making
bougie. I
those
feel like
For
they
the
machines.
would.
Vulcans to come
The
and
Vulcans
save
are so bougie. I feel like they think this world is ghetto.
They would, though. I mean, the Vulcans
Yeah,
are so
now,
bougie.
yes,
Vulcans are so
they not coming.
So
Forget
bougie.
it. I said it the other day. I said something crazy was going. I was like, the Vulcans are just never coming here.
Yeah.
Just
Man.
never. They didn't flew
Very,
by.
very,
They didn't flew by a few
okay.
times. Like still, no.
Intellectual alien turtleneck culture. Just
Yes.
that's the Vulcan.
Only thing we getting is the
Oh
Ferengi.
my God. That's like where we went to dinner, when we went to that restaurant, Subrina, and everybody was all like, they were like, yes, we are very Black and intellectual, and we have wonderful glasses on, and we have fabulous clothes on, and we are sitting in good art. And did you see me? I have wonderful hair. Did you see me?
Oh my
I'm very
God.
intellectual and I'm very Black. Power to the people. I'm not going to name the restaurant, but we were there
You know
and
who
we
you
were in
are,
it.
people.
And meanwhile,
You have
here's
to
me
wear
and Subrina, and we're
black
like,
turtleneck to get in.
we're trying to eat some good food. We heard the food was good.
That's it.
That's it. That's all.
You can eat
Just here. I'm here for the food.
I am very much a person who is just like, okay, be self-aware, but you can't be embattled all the time because you'll burn
not.
yourself out.
You
You
will.
just stress yourself to death. So
Human beings we're not made for that. But I feel like people forget the power of joy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we are embattled and we do have a lot of stuff, but like the opposite part, like what's the point of fighting if you have no hope?
Mm-hmm.
What am I fighting for if I have no hope? What am I fighting for if I can't celebrate the moments of joy that actually exist in my life, that are going to be there whether I choose to acknowledge them or not? They're there, just like these hard other moments are there. But, like, I feel like there's something like, it's a spiritual thing for me. I feel like if I cannot acknowledge that joy, embrace that joy and that love and that positivity, that I might as well just go ahead and slit my throat.
Right. What's the point?
What's the point?
Yeah.
And I believe that that's the essence of my power. I believe that my personal power comes out of love. I believe that, what I do everything that I do is from a place of love. And then if I let somebody take that, then I ain't got nothing.
Nothing at all.
Yellow Nail Ranger.
Bam!
Got the
Yellow nails.
Yellow nails.
Rock on! Ow! Don't forget, Black people invented rock and roll too.
That's right. We invented everything.
We did.
We did.
I think that's where I want to end it. We invented everything.
Boom.
Mic drop.
Soundbite right there. Soundbite.
But for real though, Shy, it's been beautiful. Beautiful.
Y'all are good company.
You are good company.
And light and love and knowledge and just well read and just a fun bunch. A fun bunch. That's why we need to show up on time.
We're gonna work on getting you back for a book club show for sure.
I love that. I would.
Yes, we're going to talk about that because, like, I think that I really want to share your works with people in a larger way or in another way, and just keep pushing out. Y'all, I'm saying this because I really believe I've read this woman's works, and I believe that you all will really and dig it too. And I
really have imposter syndrome because every time you say it, I'm just like, don't oversell it.
I know, right? It's like, stop. No, I'm just gonna say that you don't have to believe me. I believe me.
No,
you came to the wrong people if you talk about not overselling.
No,
Besides,
I'd be terrible as an author if I didn't stand on my work. I am proud of the work. I am happy with the feedback I've been getting, and I really hope you guys enjoy it. I feel like I have a little something for everybody. So even if one story is like, you're gonna find something in there you love because some of it's funny, some of it's a little bit dark. Then I've got the really long tales that are like novelettes in there. So you definitely
I
get
love it.
enough page for your buck, and yeah. I
I love
definitely,
it.
Everyone
I
will be
would
so
like to come
different,
back
so
and be a
fresh
part of
and
the book
new.
club. If even
Yes.
just to hang out with y'all, talk some mess.
Please.
Talk
Yes.
some mess.
We
We're
gonna
definitely
talk.
gonna have you back.
I want some
Well,
more
we,
tea. I'm gonna come over so you can make me
Right.
some more tea because I can never make it the way you make. I tried to make it again, and it
But
didn't
remember the
taste
way
like
I
it
made it
did in the house.
clog up my little container thingy, and we had to ladle it out because I put so much
yeah,
stuff in it.
Oh,
But
yeah, it was good though.
it
Like,
tasted really good though.
yeah,
you drank
like
the
you,
whole thing
it
that
was
day.
like a tea sangria with no alcohol. Like, I mean, you had
Ooh.
all this
It was
fruit.
hibiscus.
It was,
It was the hibiscus, and I think I put lime in it. And
ah,
I can't remember what I sweetened it with. Maybe I use cane sugar, but I always boil whatever sweetener into the
Me
tea.
too.
You know, I don't
okay.
pour it in cold because then it's,
Mm-mm.
it's a mess anyway. So yeah, I'd love to have you guys with some tea.
Oh yeah,
Serving tea to the people.
that's right.
We gotta get to Texas for Juneteenth one year. I want to go
Oh,
on the road and do a Juneteenth show in Texas.
ooh,
Just putting that out
like to
there.
see that. Okay,
Mm.
manifest, manifest.
Hmm.
I love to see you manifest.
I love that. That's a good idea, Yvette. Well, y'all, we have been like, I'm shy. You've been really generous with your time. I mean,
Time flies. No, I've had a great time yammering. And y'all
I
let me
know, right?
yammer, so I appreciate, appreciate the space to yammer.
Well, y'all, Yvette, do you want to tell folks where they can reach out if they have comments on this episode or want to get in touch and et cetera, and say how much they love M. Shy as well?
I sure can. You can find us at sci-fisistas.com. That's SYFYSISTAS.com. Join us on the mothership. That's MUTHASHIP. And the Sci-Fi Sisters Book Club, both on Facebook. On Instagram and Threads, sci-fi.sisters. And under the blue skies at Sci-Fi Sisters. For more interviews, the live show, and our infamous Top 10 series, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Sci-Fi Sisters Inc. Become a patron of Sci-Fi Sisters today at patreon.com/Sci-Fi Sisters. The Trek Geeks presenting sponsor is Fansets. Go to fansets.com for pins and memorabilia from all your favorite franchises. Visit fansets.com and use Trek Geeks, all caps, for your exclusive 10% discount. Our friends at Stranger Comics, the best in fantasy comics, invite our listeners to visit strangercomics.com and use SFS to receive an exclusive 10% discount. After listening to this podcast, please rate us and write a review. We may just read it on an upcoming episode.
And of course, we'd love to thank the best associate producers in any and all known universes.
Yes.
That would be Karen Dramera, Stephanie Baker, and Sailor Marge. Thank you guys so much. We love you, and we couldn't do this without you. And I think that's it for us tonight. Thanks for listening, everybody. Peace, love, and hair grease.